Congresswoman, we're going to change gears here in the show, and I'm going to let all of my viewers know that I'm about to call you Madeline, because the role that you're going to play on this show is as a mother who adores your son, who we see on the other side of the screen here, and has worked through a really difficult time. We're going to bring in Harry Canan. Harry, welcome. I'm glad you're here with your mom, Madeline. The two of you released a new book together this week. It's called Under Our Roof, A Son's Battle for Recovery, A Mother's Battle for Her Son. And Madeline, I told you during the commercial break, this was really painful for me to read, but it was very illuminating because you wrote this from your perspective in real time, while you, Harry, were writing from your perspective in real time. I mean, it was agonizing reading the run-up specifically to the phone call, Madeline, that you received from Harry after he'd been held up at gunpoint, wondering, you were searching for clues to his addiction, you were rationalizing his behavior. And then Harry, had I not known the outcome, had I not known that we'd booked you to come and talk on this show, I'd have expected you, reading your narrative there, to have been shot by the man who held a gun at your head while searching your house and your roommates for drugs and money. So to Mom first here, what did you learn about being the mother of a child addicted to drugs, even though he was a young man? What did you learn about that?
I learned a lot in our struggle to find out what was going on and what was going wrong with Harry. So he and I were battling for years, he trying to hide and manipulate the truth of him slipping into serious and potentially deadly, obviously, addiction, and me stumbling and trying to figure it out and drug testing him. In the writing of the book, I learned even more. I have to admit to you, we wrote the book separately, and then we dovetailed through the editor and help of others our stories. We didn't want to confuse what my memory was for his. So I'm pretty sure he'll tell you he learned things about me, but I learned so much about him. I knew he was in grave danger. I had no idea the danger he was in.
Yeah. Harry, when you look back on your descent into drug use and your journey back to sobriety, which you have been now, is it 8 years? In which case, I'd love to give you an 8-minute, standing ovation. But how did writing this book bring you clarity? Did you find answers as to why and how drugs took over your life for a while? And do you think your story can be helpful to others? Or does an addict have to hit rock bottom before deciding to climb out of their pit of despair?
So I think for me, our hope really is that this story can help someone. We wanted to highlight, what happened in our family's experience and highlight that this is a disease, that substance use disorder is a disease and that it's treatable and recovery is possible. The idea of rock bottom, I think is in some ways a dangerous one because you may never know when someone's rock bottom is. And from what I've seen, there can always be a basement below what looks like a rock bottom. So we want to try to make sure people know to reach out and that help is available. There are treatment options that are available. Yeah.
What'd you spend? 4 months, was it, Harry, in rehab? And that's what really turned your life around? Yeah. Well, kudos to you. Another thing that the two of you did as a team, you released another book this week, which you've co-written. It's called You Were Always Loved, A Story of Hope. I'm curious whom you're targeting in this book and why. Madeline, you first, and then Harry.
Well, we were delighted to be asked to write a children's book in collaboration with a beautiful illustrator, editor, writer, and even a composer. It's been set to music by Paul Williams. We were hoping to reach, one of the inspirations, I will say, frankly, is Harry's daughter, my granddaughter, Aubrey, who is now 9. We wanted to figure out, how do you talk to children about this? If their family is facing a struggle with someone who is addicted, who is dealing with substance abuse disorder, or who is in recovery and all of the sacrifices that takes, we wanted to be able to speak to children about it, because I know from my own experience that children internalize fears and think somehow it's on them, that something's wrong within them or they've caused the difficulty. So the point was, and we literally talked it over with the editor and said, we want to just ensure children that they know they're always loved, no matter what the turmoil or the storm might be around them.
Yeah. Harry, you were writing this then, it sounds like, with Aubrey in mind. I mean, it has to be incredibly meaningful for you to get this book out.
It really is. The book You Are Always Loved, between Aubrey, who's 9 now, and I've got a 1-year-old son, Sawyer, to learn how to have those conversations with them. I think a big part of both of these books is how can we do something to help end the stigma? And I think a big part of ending the stigma is having conversations at home. This is an issue that impacts families all across the country and across the world, and we need to change the way that we talk about it at home and in our communities.
Well, listen, it's a conversation that we could go on for quite some time to discuss, and I hope you guys have plenty of opportunity to do that as you do a book tour. Well done, Madeline. I appreciate that. And Harry,
Alex,
bravo to you.
Thank you.
I'm really glad
Thanks
to
for having us.
Happy to do it, honestly.
And thanks for calling me Madeline.
I know, I was telling you I have to call you Congresswoman. It's just my thing, but Madeline is fun too. Thank you, guys. Well,